Well, greetings everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the show we call the Inworld Review. In fact, we're in worlds sort of thing. Well, or world, depending on how you view it. Basically, we look at arts and destinations and moreover people across the hypergrid. And if you think of the hypergrid as one giant world with lots of regions, then it's a world. But if you think of each grid on the hypergrid as a separate world, then it's worlds plural. Now, why am I telling you this? I have no idea whatsoever. I did have a reason for saying that. I did have a reason for saying it, but I've forgotten it. Anyway, well, my name is Malbert, and I'm your guide on this little tour. To my left, that is, we have James Atlloud, who's sitting, as he always does, fiddling with knobs. So you can't see that bit. You're very lucky on that front. And basically taking care of the audio, video, and everything else that in the background, as well as participating in the conversation now and again. Welcome, James.
Oh, thank you, Mel. It's great to be here.
And on my left-hand side, your right-hand side, I suppose, I don't know, it's none other than the host of Safari, host of Blogs Galore, host of HIE, everything, the everything person is Thirza Ember. Welcome, Thirza.
I think you're reaching for the word overachiever or underachiever, or crazy. One of those words. They're probably crazy, actually. Come on. Okay, it's lovely to be here.
Mega achiever will do. Mega achiever, that's a good name. And
oh my gosh.
And of course, we're also joined by a furry little thing. Well, he's not that furry, but he's sort of furry enough. His name is Barkus, and he's animating himself quite thoroughly today. In the middle of it, I think he doesn't know which of us to attack the lap of. Sort of.
Yeah.
We've got him squashed in, haven't we? Oh dear, oh dear.
Pretty much.
Anyway, panning round a little bit here. Also, we have two guests who we will be coming to later, but I'll just introduce them very briefly now before we join them properly in about 20 minutes. We have Cataplexia Numbers. Welcome, Cataplexia.
Thank you so much. Nice to be here again.
And we have Clifford. I keep thinking it's Harper, but it's not. It's Hanger. Clifford Hanger. Welcome, Clifford.
Yes, thank you very much.
And
good to see you again.
Yeah, both of them are here courtesy of their own grid, which is called the alternatemetaverse.com. And as I say, we'll be getting into all that in a while after we've taken care of business here at the front end, so to speak. And talking of which, let's get on with it. We have a little insert to the clip here featuring Thirza, which is all about the hypergrid happenings. So time for hypergrid happenings.
Oops, my slides. They're sliding around. Yes, it's hypergrid happenings once again this week. And of course, there's always something happening on the hypergrid. Here is a few of the things that are coming up, not just this week, but in the future. But we're going to start in the past, because this is a message that Lampitala, artist from Pangea Grid, gave me. She just wanted everybody to know, and in fact, everybody over on Pangea wanted you guys to know how happy they all were at the fabulous turnout there was to Carnival 2024. There was about 50 people at the party when I came by, and that was towards the end of it. And of course, there were loads and loads of floats. Alternate Metaverse Grid got involved, Neverworld, Adult Grid, Soul Grid. We sent the bus from HD Safari, which got an upgrade, especially to its flames and also its music department. Moonrose Grid was over there, also Mare Grid, which is a really cool grid. If you've never been to see it, you definitely should. And also Jupiter Roland, he contributed something to mark Cornflakes Week, or at least the beginning of it. So it was a great event. And of course, next year, maybe there'll be even more grids involved. So that'll be super. Another thing I wanted to make people aware of is this group over in opensimworld.com. If you don't know it, you probably should take a look. It's called What Are You Looking For? There's about 60 people in it, which makes it, I think, the second biggest group that they have over on OpenSim World. And it helps you find things that are maybe some item that you've seen sometime but you've never found it again, and you're just totally hunting for that one specific thing. It might be a script, or it might be a piece of clothing that you once had and you really would love to find again, or an animal, anything like that. You can leave a message here in this group and somebody will try and help you find it. So it's as simple as that. There are quite a few people who are good at Blender who are associated with this group, and so if you have an issue, they even may be able to help you with something like that. So definitely worth joining the group. They're a fun bunch. This is what's happening on Wednesday with the safari. We're going to two places. One is the Blue Wave Club, which is like pretty much the oldest club in opensim. Really, it's been going, I think it's 15 years, something like that, from the practically from the beginning. And then our second stop is on Atlas Grid, and I have no idea what they have planned for us, but it's Jeff and Hard to Lee and Chip, and I'm pretty sure something French will happen while we're there. So come along and join us. It's 12 o'clock Second Life time. That's 9 p.m. here in Europe, 8 p.m. in England. And it's a fun thing to do, and you're very welcome. We always welcome new visitors. This is coming up, I think it's on, if I'm not mistaken, Thursday. It's a Summer Beach Club event, but Summer Beach Party event, I should say, with DJ Madril doing the music. It's over on Kitely, and this is something that Koshari, who was here last week, wanted us to publicize. So get on your swimsuits. It's the water is warm, I'm told, so it's definitely a fun thing to do if you are available at that time. And then another thing that I really wanted to point out this week was something that I always miss saying, and that is to give a big shout out to Aussie Envy here in OS Grid. They have every week consistently days and days of music. It goes on for like 6 hours in a row, sometimes even 12, over on Event Plaza. So usually it's Friday and Saturday, and then they have a midweek event. Of course, OS Grid known as the crossroads of OpenSim, and it's amazing who you'll run into if you go over to listen to either one of the great DJs they have or some of the live music, and they have some really big names who do perform over on Event Plaza. So take a look at that at the weekend or on a Wednesday. That's a fun thing to do. Another thing I wanted to mention was that HIE, the Hypergrid International Expo, is coming in April. And now is the time to get your booth, your publicity booth for our big park. Anybody can be involved. You don't have to speak a foreign language. English people can, or English speakers can, of course, apply. You just grab one of these booths, you modify it to pieces, and then you just return it to me and we'll pop it in the park that we have that surrounds the auditorium. You can pick this one up either on HIE Welcome Sim on Craft Grid, or you can go over to HD Safari Sim here on OS Grid at the clubhouse, and you'll find one when you land right in the landing place. So do that. The deadline is the 15th of March, so try and do that as soon as you can so that we can place them all and have them ready well before the event. And finally, Cornflakes Week is coming. It's from the 22nd to the 29th. Yes, it's a leap year this year, and lots of grids are doing their bit to be involved. It's a lot of fun, and we hope that you will do it too. And that really is the roundup for this week's Hypergrid happenings.
Well, thank you for that, Thirza. Hypergrid happenings indeed. I know that was your subtitle underneath the tagline. Will you get sorry? Will you get corny this year?
Yes, be careful.
I almost slipped up there, didn't I? Okay, fine.
You certainly did.
Well, I think we probably will be, and in fact, I'm just going to go out of order a bit here because there's nothing like a segue to keep a show going. As well as the Safari post you had up this week, you did actually, of course, have one up here about Cornflakes Week, and you've got various pictures on it too. Now, let me just put. Oh, God, sorry, we don't want it in that view. We want it in picture view. Hey, I've got it. Sorry. Oh, how tedious. Right, there we are. Okay, this is one of Thirza's blogs that you'll find at hgsafari.blogspot.com. And this is really a bit of advanced promo for Cornflakes Week. So I'll show the pictures and you can talk us through it, Thirza.
Yeah, I met a lovely lady from AMV today. I can't remember her name, escapes me, but she was so sweet. And I saw how she was looking for all the cornflakes things. And this, of course, is a classic picture, the first one there of Cornflakes' place, the tribute sim rather that Word from the Wise has. There's so many beautiful creations he makes. But of course, yeah, there he is, Word from the Wise. Of course, the idea of Cornflakes Week is, and I'm sure Kat will have something to say about that, and Clifford.
Oh, yes, we have a lot planned.
Keeping to the original prim items. It's also about creating new content for opensim because, life goes on. We movement and evolution is always important. So, for example, Cherry, a couple of years ago, she made this box that is a cornflakes companion. It's sort of playing on the colors of cornflakes, but she even made that EEP in the background just to bring the whole thing into the age of mesh. Yes, it's a lot of fun. And I know that you guys over on AMV are going to participate. Just as last year, Pangea Grid let us come over, and Nick Spreen made a lot of beautiful creations based on the same colors. And that, in fact, is Nick's there, the giant eyeball. A bit scary, really. I don't know how silly that is. And our good friend Una de Calmasala, who's just put a hat on. He said, I just can't be bothered. I'll participate by wearing a hat, which is fine too.
That's me. That's what I do. Yeah.
Everybody does everybody does as much or as little as they want. I love this this gif of Akim Twisterling, who really went to town. Sadly, that grid's not online right now. But Super, the Germans love it because, of course, it feeds right into a lot of the carnival celebrations they have. And there you got some NPCs because many of the creations of cornflakes, what I did was I took them apart and I turned them into NPCs so that they're all, and also wearable, so you can wear them as an avatar, so that you can wear the birdie, you can wear the ant, and all these various creatures, which makes kind of a fun costume for the week.
Nice.
And I should just say that all those items are available in the little cornflakes shop on the Clubhouse Sim HG Safari, and there's also another shop over on Neverworld Grid. I think it's called on the sim called Miami, if I'm not mistaken.
There we go. Okay, so while I've got the pages up, one post this week also from naughty Hyper Good Business. In fact, there we are. Maria Koloff, of course. OpenSim area hits new high as usage grows this week. Well, this month, I should say, or the month just passed is what she's talking about there. 131,880 standard regions, an increase of 369 standard regions. Gosh golly. Right. As usual, her blog contains these things called graphs. She should start doing 3D graphs, the ones where you've got 3 dimensions, so you've got an embedded box rather than a PowerPoint. But there, that's a bit too newfangled, isn't it, really? Right. Anyway, her stats don't include Thirza Dream Grid, of course, because it's well, they tend to be private grids, but there's different reasons. I don't think she can always get the figures from those type of grids. Hypergrid Business now has a newsletter on the 15th of every month, so you can actually get what I suspect will be the highlights of this blog in newsletter form each month, which I do this with quite a few sites, actually. It does save time. I usually have the sites as an RSS feed, to be honest, but it does, if you don't, subscribing and getting them by email is a surefire way you don't miss out, so to speak. Of course, assuming you don't want to miss out. Right, top 25 grids there. Let's see, who's the top OS grid? Yeah, Wolf Church is number 2. Digiworld. So here we are. You're at number 4, the alternative metaverse. So, or alternate metaverse, I should say.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
Nice.
2,035 active users. So
We've been getting a lot of new
yeah.
users lately.
Yeah. OS Grid and Wolf Territories are at the top there, but I mean, you and Digiworld there have got, you've got over a third of, respectable users, considering those are the really old ones. Well, OS Grid is. Anyway, yes, so information there. As I said, you can find this website at hypergridbusiness.com. So HYPGRIDBUSINESS.com. And historical statistics and everything else. Oh, and actually, that really was fairly given that Hypergrid Business very often uses its headline topic to be a part of a long newsletter with lots of other things. This is really focused just on what's on the headlines there this time. So hypergridbusiness.com. Right, now let's have a little break first of all. It's been Thirza also mentioned in our Hypergrid happening slot all the thanks that Pangea Grid have been giving to those who helped, including our guest today, Alternate Metaverse. I'm quickly going to show, before we look at the Safari things, one video here, which is a sort of celebration of the Pangea Carnival. And indeed, it's got lots of floats from everybody all over the place. And it's a good bit of party music to get us going, even though the actual festival's over. And I think AMV even have a float here somewhere floating around. So, oh god, never mind, forget that. Okay, let's see it.
I know that bus.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
So, Kat and Clifford, how did you get involved with being part of this? What happened?
We know Marlon, and he asked us. So
we've got quite a lot of visitors
Simple as
from Pangea or Panya or however it's pronounced. But we've been doing a lot of work with Karsten. He's helping us out with
He's
some
great, isn't he?
some regions. Yeah, it's really, really helpful. Very, 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 very
it's
skilled.
super guy.
there's a lot of very nice, very open people on that grid.
Yeah, Marlon and Tuts attended a lot of our early building classes as well.
Oh, really? How nice.
Enrique Giano hosted.
Right.
And he started from that. He started coming to lots of events with us as well, and we've got to know him more
Because
and more.
Enrique speaks a lot of languages, right? If I remember rightly.
7 fluent.
Yeah. Super.
Super jealous.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. What a great show. When I first arrived at this carnival thing, I arrived very late, and I had lag because there was so many people there, and all the vehicles were one. They were all kind of inside each other, and I was thinking, wow, this is a really surreal piece of art. And then gradually they all separated out because I just arrived at the wrong moment, and the script had just jammed them all together for my viewer, so I couldn't see them properly. But there was some really fantastic vehicles. And you did am I right in thinking you did the Year of the Dragon? Is that correct?
Yep, that was the brainchild of Cataplexia here. She made
It was a lot of fun.
Made lots of textures.
Used AI and made the dragon textures that were on the float.
Yeah.
I have to confess, I just gave him my bus, and that's all I did.
This is kind of interesting.
That's all you need when you have a bus,
Really. That is true.
It's quite interesting. I
We
mean,
got a fairy bus.
talking about something else that Thirza would know about. We've been talking about HIE this year, which is only a couple of months away, and on the Saturday night we were reckoning to have a party in the exhibition area, and watching these floats. I've just sort of seen the idea we will have a float that goes along the contours of the outside of the expo, and maybe somebody performing on that float, and the people will be able to follow that float. So they'll have a party at the same time as they actually get to see all the stands, which
See, this is why we love Mal, because he has these really great ideas,
that.
and then he wants somebody else to make them work.
yeah, oh yes. So any scripted
Hopefully,
floats
yes.
available? Yes, yeah, that's my job. Come up with the ideas and let somebody else do it.
And of course, the build behind here is the Cologne. You're seeing Cologne Cathedral, so it's kind of like visiting Germany. Because of course Cologne is one of those cities that really goes crazy when it's carnival season. So I thought it was a great event because it gives you're kind of visiting. It's a cultural visit as well as an in-world visit. You're getting a little bit of somebody else's culture as well. It's great fun.
Yeah, they know how to party over there.
They sure do.
I'm so happy to see this. I had a sick day that day, so I didn't go.
No, nice.
Stuck
Really
doing
nice.
something else right
Now
now. Oh, look at the flames. Look at that. My bus never looked so good.
Yeah, you
It's
didn't
got
tell me.
musicians in it too.
Yeah, you didn't tell. Well, maybe you should just use the
That's great.
Safari bus.
I'm going to ask him to give that back because now it's fixed up. It's even much nicer than the original. So.
Give it back.
But yes, wouldn't it be? Wouldn't it? Yeah, give it back. That's my bus. It would be so great if we got more people next year. So anybody out there who has a grid, just contact Marlon. He will help you. You just basically give the vehicle, and then he'll script it and take care of everything. So it's an easy thing to do, and it's such a fun thing to do to create a bit of solidarity across the grids.
Oh, there they are.
Beautiful.
Safari banding close up, so to speak. So
to speak. I didn't even have to pay them.
It's actually quite funny. That's it there. But when I was playing that beforehand and it opened up, I was thinking, I know this song. I know this music. What is it? What is it? And I was fiddling there for about 6 minutes or so. Well, no, it was about 3 or 4 minutes, and I suddenly realized it was status quo in a funny language. So, yeah, a song everybody knows, but of course in different words. It took me about for a bit. Okay, fine. Well, before we actually move to alternate verse again, let me find the right button for the right job here. Click, and there we are. And do this in order. Okay, so 2 visits of Safari this week. Again, hgsafari.blogspot.com for the reports. We just really look at the pictures, and there's quite a lot to read here, of course, because there's but we're sort of on the picture department here, or we will be if they work. Why did it do that?
So yes, Soul Grid, of course, a very important German grid. I don't really go by those. I don't know if Kat and Cliff agree with me, but those statistics, is how many users. I'm not entirely convinced by all that stuff. Soul Grid has a really solid community that are regularly there, and you can see them there whenever you go. That there are people, and that's a huge difference to somebody just shooting off a number. And it's been ages since we've been to Soul Grid. Do you agree, Kat? Would you say that's true?
They come to visit us as this big, huge flock of the admins and everything. They come to some of our events like that, and there's like 20, 25 that show up when they come. It's just a big flock of them. Yeah.
Yes.
They're very nice people.
Lovely people, yeah.
That's a very picturesque.
Agreed.
a long shot of the party there. Before we go back to that party, you've got two shots here. I think need a bit of explanation. One is, although I couldn't join you because of the lag, unfortunately, I couldn't load the web page, but you were demoing the Mumble group. We now have a Safari Mumble group. Maybe you'd just like to tell us about that quickly.
Yeah, because I mean, this is an old story. This began months and months ago. That somebody was talking about having Mumble as an opportunity to have a sort of alternative to Vivox down the road, and actually it was two people. It was Cyberglow, and it was Jeff Kelly from Atlas Grid, who we're going to see this week, and they both have a long-term users of Mumble. And of course, when Vivox had its issues a couple of, 2 weeks ago, when the website was down, and so Vivox was down here in opensim, a lot of people thought that Vivox was being funny with us and they were going to just abandon us. Of course, that was not at all the situation. This idea of Mumble came back because obviously there's a way that people can have their own Mumble server so that they can be totally in control of the server rather than, for example, right now we're speaking using Discord. But Discord is a third-party app. It's a great app, but we're not in control of it in any way. Whereas with Mumble, it's open source and anybody can control it. So the idea is that, yes, Vivox is great. Let's hope that it can last forever. But supposing it doesn't, then perhaps Mumble for some grids could be an alternative way to go. And Snowbody, who's my husband, got really interested in it. He's a bit of a geek. And he came up with an explanation of 4 different ways that it can be used. And we were trialing the very basic use, which is just having a Mumble group. We were trying that. But obviously, he's now developed it further with the idea that you can have a different Mumble room for every sim or even every parcel so that people can change, can move from one place to another and hear a different group of people in that place. So we were just trialing it, and James joined us, didn't you, James?
Yeah, I sure did. It was fun. And the quality was really high. Snowy said that it was running on a Raspberry Pi, which is a very low speed processor, and the voice quality was awesome.
Yeah, we installed one on the day that Vivox died. Sounds a bit like American Pie.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Exactly, just what I thought.
We spun one up on our piggybacked on our grid service.
Mm-hmm.
It's still running in actual fact, and just to sort of dovetail it together with the carnival in Köln, all the AMV people used the Mumble server so that we could speak to each other during the carnival. And that's something that you couldn't do with Vivox.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's pretty much what we did because, of course, Safari is always out and about. We really never spent any time on our sim at all, so it was kind of cool. There weren't a huge number of us on it, but it was just a first test of it. But since we had gone anyway to a Valentine's Day party, it seemed a good moment to try it, and so that's permanently available. That actually Una de Cal Masala has set that up for us. So and like you say, Cliff, you've got it belongs to you, your AMV Mumble, and that's a beautiful thing because it means that you were in charge of, it's up to you if it's up or if it's available. It's not some third-party person that you have to rely upon, and that's important.
There's no
And
danger
there we
of
are,
it getting
sitting there.
sold overnight.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is like the clubhouse before we went traveling, but I mean, it's, the one thing.
Yes, this is where we sit around chatting. And somebody was talking about fingers. I have no idea why, but somebody was talking about cutting off fingers for like 10 minutes. Very bizarre conversation.
Really, I think pretty glad you don't have a transcript of that.
I miss
one.
being in the Safari.
When we set ours up, we opened it up to everyone, and on the Sunday evening, as Vivox was still out, we actually conducted a meeting. We had about 40 people on Mumble.
What did you think of the quality?
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
Crystal clear.
at least as good
Yeah.
as Discord.
See,
Absolutely
the thing with
amazing.
Discord is that a lot of people don't like Discord. They have issues with it. They're afraid their data is somehow going to be taken from them. Whereas with Mumble, of course, you just download this tiny little app, and then you're entering the the mumble of a grid that one presumes you already trust. So if you trust the grid, then you trust the mumble. I think that's important to remember.
Yeah.
The only drawback to this at the moment, though it might be possible to automate it in some way, as you can do in a viewer with something like Firestorm and Flickr, for example. At the moment, you have to go to the page. It's a bit like some of the virtual currencies, and you've got to log into that page, and you've got to stay logged into your Mumble page whilst you keep using it. And I often use Discord in various, not only on a particular grid, but across grids, because you can have a group and talk on Discord while you're moving around. So it's a similar sort of principle, though, as it says, that you completely own it. So it's
But yes and no to that, I would say, Mal, because the guys are working on a module that grids will be able to put so that if you change sims,
yeah,
the mumble will automatically. Obviously, you're going to have that little tiny mumble window open in the background. That's you can't avoid that. But you will be able to, with this new module, when you change sims, it will automatically put you over into the new Mumble group, so that if you have a grid of 10 sims, let's say, and you move from one sim to another, then you will be moved to the Mumble group in that other sim. So that's coming soon. So
I remember this is completely separate. Well, it's not separate; it's sort of related. Second Life, once upon a time, and very near when they started with Vivox, they had a desktop messenger which allowed you to log into Second Life 5 Vivox in a sort of messenger window and see what's online and talk to your friends, regardless
wow.
of where they were on the grid. But of course, that was hosted on Vivox's servers, and presumably they were charging Lindenlab for it. So it didn't last for very long, but it was a thing that I know for a long time, a lot of people were saying that this was the best things ever, because it meant you could log into Second Life with a messenger service and talk to anybody you knew. And more importantly, you could also still log into the world using the same account. So you could use both of them side by side. And the idea, imagine you're in a Mumble group in opensim, say at the clubhouse or something, and you quit Firestorm completely. Wouldn't it be nice, for example, if Mumble was still running in your tray area to keep you in touch with people, whether you're actually on Inworld or not? So I think it's
Well,
sort
there's
of
nothing to stop you leaving Mumble open. It's a really small
Yeah.
application.
yeah, but will it connect to anything once you've logged out of a sim? If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's
Very,
stuff for another
very
conversation. I was actually going to say that if any of you are particularly interested, if you go to our YouTube channel, Malbone's Meta World, you will find that I think it was 2 weeks ago we had a long program where we discussed this in great detail. Although, as I mentioned, it's been coming on ever since. So check that out. Let's get back to just wrapping up the visit first of all, the party as we were having. Animated gifts, of course. The colours here were lovely, and you can get you can just see how busy it was. I think many of the
Yeah,
people.
Nasty is a great artist. She actually has some really nice art sims as well, but she's a great builder. Just beautiful work. And she was. I asked her. Of course, her husband Rudy passed away. I guess it's a year ago or so now, and leaving her by herself to run the grid. And I asked her, of the administration side of it, the building side of it. Troubleshooting, being the grid mother, which jobs does she love the best? And she says, I'm the mother of the grid. I can't let it die. It has to carry on. So all
Job.
credit to her, lovely lady.
Yeah, she's doing a wonderful job there. In fact, there's a mixture of Safari people and some other people that were already there when we arrived on this. So it was really quite packed. And although I didn't think it was too laggy, but it was laggy enough that I couldn't launch Mumble at the same time. So go figure. Right. Okay. Oh, now who can those two be? I actually this grid was, or the venue was known as Tosca. So I was making these jokes about, oh, I'll have to go dance with Tosha at Tosca, and there I am dancing with Tosha, and James popping away in the background too. Oh, a bit of good old hip movement on that, James. Yeah.
It takes years of practice.
Yeah, I know. You make
I
Mick
can
Jagger
imagine.
jealous, don't you? And there was some lovely fireworks here, of course. And yeah, and oh, there he is again. Can't get enough of him, can we? I must say, it is actually a change to see that James, for once, was in the party mood and wasn't sitting. Somehow you envisaged
Yes.
James arriving at a party, going to the middle of the dance floor and sitting. But you didn't this time. He had a bop, didn't he? Okay, next to the next one on the line. Here be dragons. This sim is just, I can't tell you, it's something else. I've got probably as much film as it has took up the whole darned visit. Anyway, I actually arrived at this and I started coming around. I like to do it all before it gets too laggy, and I moved upwards, which actually doesn't happen in our tour until the end. So my film is all upside down. But nevertheless, some great stuff here. This is more or less where we landed. It was actually a little alcove, as it were, with bats in it and very horror moody, almost Halloween-y type sort of imagery surrounding us, in total contrast to where we get to at the end. But a lot of it here was spent in the tunnels, wasn't it? So those are
Yeah, no, here we go. DJ Alex, there she is. Somebody that, of course, is well known on AMV, because I believe she plays for you over on AMV Grid sometimes too.
Yes,
She gets
has her
around.
home there. Yeah.
And she's a great builder. This was on Barefoot Dreamers Grid. This is our second visit to Barefoot Dreamers Grid. It's the first season that we've ever been able to get over there, which I was really delighted about. The more different grids we visit, the happier I am. And Alex actually asked me if we could do this tour, which I always appreciate it when people come forward and propose their sims as a place to visit, because it makes my life easier rather than just having to hunt out new places. It's always good to get some advice about what's a place to visit. She said there were dragons, but then when we got there, there were really a lot of dragons and so many tunnels. And she did a really good job, because it was the first time she'd taken such a big group on a tour, but she didn't run, which I always appreciate. But she did get us through it in record time, and was just delightful.
Yeah, it's very smooth.
And the sim held up really well too, because I think there were about 20 of us altogether. And you know, some sims, people will tell you, oh, that won't be a problem. But then when you get there and there's 20 people, they can't move. But I don't know about you guys, if you experienced lag. I found it pretty easy.
Very easy. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so did I. It's very, very well done.
Smooth running grid.
Our Dinkies visited there about a year ago now, and
Did they?
yeah, it was good. It was great fun.
It's and it's beautiful. The sim hasn't exactly got a story to it as such, but there's a theme that runs through it. This sense of these dragons that are there as protectors more than anything else. So I was intrigued and delighted, because it's so easy to get lost in the place. It seemed even bigger than it probably is, because there were just so many different spaces to explore.
Yeah, all the interlinked stuff. I can see that obviously the dragons, when they're having time out, are busy breaking the bridges, but that was actually a well-broken bridge.
I wonder if they're connected to Isle of Dragons from SL, whose sub-caption is "There be dragons," you know, and they have it set up somewhat like that, where the dragons are the guardians, and this is fabulous. I'm glad there's something like this here.
Yeah, it's really lovely, and that's our very own Star Ravenhurst, who of course always has the dragon wings. So she's fitted right in this place.
Beautiful.
There we are. Yeah, good old star. And
I wanted to ask Kat about something, if I can, because this is something that I always notice, and I wonder if she's noticed the same thing. People are so modest in opensim, and sometimes it's really hard to get them to show their builds, which are really fabulous. They don't immediately think, oh, I'm the best builder in the world. They're very humble. Do you find that's the same thing in AMV? Sometimes you go to a sim and think, good Lord, if I built this, I'd be really proud and telling everybody about it, but they're very quiet. And
I have to pry those landmarks and logos right out of their hands to publicize them. They are very, very quiet about their builds. I noticed that too.
There are some amazing ones hidden away.
Yeah, there are so many on our grid. Oh my goodness. And I'm constantly asking, can I have your landmarks and your logos so we can put them on the main teleport board? We have explorer boards and club boards and all kinds of stuff to help them promote. And, I have to really tackle it individually and IM them and say, I really like your place.
Same thing. And the same here on Barefoot Dreamers. It took me ages for us to be able to organize these visits, and we've had 2 absolutely fabulous visits so far, and I'm sure we'll be back on Barefoot Dreamers before long.
So we better move on. We've already got you both in the conversation, viewers can tell, but we'll better get on to Alternate Metaverse Grid itself. So I'll just go through the last of these quickly. The big surprise, which I actually found at the beginning, is after all that doom and gloom and caves and dragons and everything else, there's a teleport at the end that takes you way up to a completely different level, which is just serene, beautiful. It's lovely. I think when we do a vote on our favorite trips on safari, this would be mine, unless something comes along to improve it.
All the beautiful greenery.
It definitely wins best lawn in opensim. I've never seen a lawn quite like this one.
Well, the other thing that very few people have ever seen is the fact this is up in the air, right? It's a level up in the air, and all the water up here, be it in the pond or whatever, is actually like the water on a ground level, like land water. It is really well made water, considering this is artificial water in the sky. It's not the water generated by the the simulator. Yeah, and that's the glass reminds me of one of my old builds. I just filled the region with grass and thought, well, have a party on the lawn.
Garden party.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it had gardens around it. Which is again. So yeah, that's all stylish as well. So yeah, I have some wonderful. Maybe we'll get to show it sometime in the summer, but I have an awful lot of film of that thing. And what the amazing thing is, I guess it's because I was in camera mode. I was actually, if I scrolled, I was just out of the region completely, so I could see the innards of the way they built it. And that in itself was a revelation. I've done things like that myself on the ground, but you're limited because you can't drill under the ground or do that. But what they've done by putting it in the air was really a remarkable sort of network of tunnels all underneath.
And that's absolutely, and that's really one of the things I love about Safari is that most people who come on Safari are builders. Or grid owners or interested in the process of building. So it's great that people can exchange information and get inspired from one another. So yeah.
Okay, to move on, because we're spending a lot of time on the intro this week. I've now started the film that we got here. It's about 30 minutes, so it'll probably take us to the end of the show. But this is actually a film of AMV Grid itself. There is music on it, but we're not going to play that because unless we get fed up of talking. I'll also stop it at one point so that we can actually look at the slides Kat has brought along. Anyway, to get going, I'm going to introduce them again. You've heard them plenty of times already today. But anyway, Cataplexia Numbers and Clifford Harper from Alternate Metaverse Grid. Welcome both.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Mel.
Right.
Cliffhanger.
So,
Hanger, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, not Harper.
Like a
Hanger.
cliffhanger.
oh, yeah, sorry, hanger.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
cliffhanger.
An aircraft
It's
hanger.
such a great name.
An aircraft
Oh
hanger.
no, he's a cliffhanger.
Oh, the
And
cliffhanger.
never knows
Oh,
what will
yeah.
happen next week.
Of course, cliffhanger. Right. Okay. Well, we'll have to employ you as part of the show. You can come up at the end and say,
Absolutely.
"Oh, it is now time for our cliffhanger," and then you can announce what's coming on next week. You've got a job, Cliff. Right. Anyway, some wonderful pictures here. As we're talking, I take it you can both see on the center screen here the clip as it's going along. So obviously there's something you particularly want to mention while the clip's playing. So now we're coming to this, now we're coming to that. Just bust in.
That's on the luxury liner Aurora 2.
Yeah.
Which is huge. It has so much stuff in it. This was a Christmas boat parade that we had. And you can see the different boats lined up there, all decorated, playing music and particles and all that.
Yeah.
You love to organize events, Kat and Cliff too. I know that, and that's really one of the things why we really wanted to have you on the show, is because you're planning quite an important event. I think it's important anyway, which is an international music event. And I was wondering if you guys could tell us a little bit. First of all, why did you think of doing it, and which languages, who's involved in doing it?
Well, I started it because we have been flooded with people from other countries, and we are so happy to have them there. We're making groups for them so they can communicate with each other. We've had groups of Italians, groups of Germans, groups of Spanish people. Lately, the big one that's coming in droves is the Spanish community, and so I started with the groups, and then I thought, we should have a day where we bring them all together, and bring our musicians together so that they can be exposed to them, because like the Spanish community is going mostly to the Spanish DJs and things like that. So we want to bring them more into the mainstream of the grid. Same thing with, all the different varieties of people that are there. We'd like to get them more together, and it's working. I mean, even in the planning, it's been working. That we've been mixing a lot. I went to flamenco dancing the other night. It was so fantastic. And the beautiful dresses they had made for this. Paca John's is the DJ for flamenco dancing. Just absolutely beautiful. So we decided, I talked about it with Cliff. We decided to go for it. And have various musicians from the grid and from off the grid as well that represent countries from all around the world. I tried very hard to get a German singer. Found the one that you found. I contacted him. I haven't heard back from him yet, but I'll give you a little rundown. Yeah, fingers crossed. But I had already booked everything, so I told him I would love to just slip him in before everything. It starts at 10 a.m., so there are half-hour slots for each of the performers. So I told him he can go at 9:30.
Why did you choose to do a 30-minute slot and not a whole hour? What was the thinking there?
Because I wanted to have more people from all around the place. And in order to do that, it would take days, and I really didn't want to do that. I wanted it to be a one-day event that just sort of went on for hours and was a lot of fun. So we have João Frazão from Portugal opening up, and Karen Ametsa from Brazil, Zori Jupiter. She's originally from Portugal, but she's now in the United States. So she's going to do music from both. She's going to do some fado, which is the
lovely.
folk music. At 11:30 we have Maven Live. She's originally from the U.S., but she lives in Canada for a few years, and have her do a little of both.
May I? When is this? What days, by the way, we're talking
This
about?
will be on March 7th. It's a Thursday,
Right.
and it starts at 10 a.m. and it ends at 4.
Right.
So it's quite a big block of hours there.
Yeah.
We have Clan of Scotia from Scotland. We have Icky and Sum from the UK. Ian Kitsilano, originally from the UK, now in Canada. He's going to do music from both. We have Nikita Anderson, who's a singer from Italy. Zeno Stark, who also is from Italy. Putri, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, from Indonesia. I've never met her, but she's
fabulous.
And then Dave King, and then myself. We're going to close it out. We're both from the USA, and we're going to close out the show. And
wonderful.
During this show, there's a food court, an international food court with foods and items from all over the world. Let me show you on the slideshow. Okay, that's looking in from the entrance.
Hang on a second. I will pause the film now.
Okay.
And then you can move to the slide. Okay, so I pause the film, and James can actually load the other screen where your slideshow is. So okay, so fire away with the slideshow.
Okay, you can see the food court on both sides there, and some tables and chairs. And there's a stand in the center. This was when it was being built, actually, put together the food court. And the stage is at the far end there. You can see the speakers up on the walls and lining the walls there. Here's some of the food court. There's food along on those shelves. And there's things that you can buy, like, freebies that you can buy. Wagon wheels and tulips and various things from different countries. Some clothing items and such.
That's such a great idea.
You know what they should do with something like this? About you, maybe, I don't know. Imagine you go to the food court virtually and you think, oh, I don't want to waggle. I got my avatar, can't eat it anyway. But imagine that the dispenser gave you a voucher that you could take to a real world shop and get a discount on a wagon wheel, or maybe even a free one. As a way of linking
a discount on a wagon wheel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm diabetic, so I don't eat the sugar. But I can imagine. I know a lot of people in the virtual world would go for cakes and sugars and stuff.
What an interesting idea.
In fact, in newspapers, don't you? You sort of cut out the coupon from the newspaper, and you get a free Twizzle bar or something, or something. You think they could extend that, a way of extending that into a virtual world? It obviously has to be.
Well, they're all free. They're all free at the food court there.
Yeah. May I give a shout out to our YouTube audience? Hello, everybody. I think there's like 15 people watching us at the moment.
Oh, hi, everyone.
So hello, everybody. And certain M. Min is talking up the Dutch element. I have a feeling we have a Dutch person with us. And she wants to mention Dutch cheese that should definitely be in that food court. So make a note, Kat. We definitely need some Dutch cheese.
I don't know who M. Min is. I'm wondering if it might be Jana. She's Dutch by origin.
Oh, she wants Gouda. I think is this pronounced Gouda? That's the cheese she wants. So.
Tell her to send me some, and I'll put it in on the food court. I'll make sure it gets in there.
Oh no, that's James is looking for Gouda.
Edam and Gouda, those are the Dutch ones, aren't they?
Gouda I've had.
Fudge Placebo would also like to say, talking about the builders, and so you've got a lot of support on YouTube right now. That's
wonderful.
Excellent.
Hi everyone.
Hi everyone.
individual stages were made for each performer for this event by Rika Giano. And they represent all the countries that they're from. It's just so much went into it. You know,
that looks like Croissant Island right there.
Yes.
It looks like a food-inspired island.
Yeah, this is, I've moved on from that, and these are, we've always had this thing that we call demo regions. They're prefabs on Alternate Metaverse. We decided to do terraform regions because people that, you know, they don't like to do it. They look for something that's a shortcut, you know. And so we decided to make a whole bunch of terraform regions. This is the crescent moon.
Oh.
Here's another one. These are the new terraform regions. And when you order a region on AMV, you can have it, you know, like flat, or the little dimple that it comes with, you know, the little dimple of land in water.
Yeah.
Or you can have it terraformed, or you can have it with builds on it, however you like, and there's no extra cost.
Cool.
Okay, that was it for the terraforms.
So now we're getting down to it. Oh,
now we're getting to cornflakes. Okay. Oh, Sophie Supermarine is our publicist, and she made this poster for cornflakes. It just represents cornflakes so well.
Perfect.
And we have so much stuff going on for cornflakes. Let me hold on. Let me get my note card up here.
So I think you're really celebrating. I mean, the idea was that it's Cornflakes Week because during the arc of 1 week, most grids have at least one party. And so the idea was that, well, if your party's on a Tuesday or it's on a Friday, you know, you are within that arc of a week. But you guys have gone one better than that, because you guys have really turned it into a week celebration, haven't you?
We have them all over the place. I'm gonna read this out for those of you who are on the YouTube channel or get to it eventually and watch the playback. In honor of opensim pioneer Cornflakes Woodcock, who passed on quite a while back, opensim celebrates its 9th annual Cornflakes Week, the last week of February, where silliness, craziness, fun, and laughter are everywhere. Cornflakes Week isn't really a memorial event. That makes it sound like it's limited to people who knew the man. Rather, it's a festival of silliness and friendship that takes its inspiration from Cornflakes Woodcock's creations, made of prims in bright colors. It's about uniting the hypergrid. It is a decentralized event. There are no rules. Every grid can adapt the theme to their own ideas and mood and adapt their weekly social event to be cornflakes. Just for this one time in February, celebrating silliness and togetherness. Most of that was written by Thirza, but I added.
I added to it.
Okay, cornflakes for breakfast on Radio AMV, The Breakfast Show, which is broadcast live from AMV Welcome, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Friday. Sophie Supermarine will be DJing cornflakes for breakfast. And we have Crazy Cornflakes Night at Trax, where Chris McCracken is going to be, that's February 23rd, 5 to 7 p.m., Dress Wild and Crazy Night with Chris McCracken. And then there's Cornflakes Open Mic. That's February 24th, 3 to 5, sorry, on a Saturday night. And Chris Day Ellis and Whisper Carfield will have a Dress Silly open mic event. And then we have another Cornflakes for breakfast, and that's with Sophie's husband in real life, Ted Jr., otherwise known as Rique Giano. It's going to be on Wednesday, the 28th, 6 to 8 a.m., and he's a lot of fun. He's a fun DJ. Yeah. So is Sophie.
Lovely man.
Yeah. Cornflakes karaoke. we're going to have a lot of fun at karaoke with this. On Wednesday, the 28th, 1 to 3 p.m., Crystal, Star, Cliff, and myself.
I presume it's a long list. I presume there is a website people can go to read this agenda.
I'm going to put it on our news page, but it's not on there yet. I had trouble when I tried to.
And I'll try and post it under this video. When the video goes live tomorrow, I'll post all this information, which you very kindly gave me in a note card, so I can do that. Can I ask you a question, though, before we go any further?
Sure.
The Cornflakes karaoke, where you're going to be swapping out the lyrics and making them funnier. Can you please film that for me? Because we have the safari at that time, so I can't come. But I really want to experience that.
She's the best at filming. Okay,
I really
I'll try my best.
Technical challenge.
In other words, like if you have a song like "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me," you might change the lyrics to "Don't Let Your Sun Go Down on Me." And so on and so forth. Plus,
I definitely want to see that.
Plus, we're going to sing some funny songs that we don't normally sing at karaoke. You know, like "Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny," "Polka Dot Bikini," and things like that. So.
Oh dear! I don't know. Is it George Michael or Billy Joel? Who did that? The sun go down. Yeah, it was George Michael, wasn't it? Yeah, I don't know.
Actually, way before George.
Actually, probably wouldn't give a damn about that change of lyrics, to be honest. But being in. Okay.
And last but not least, Cornflakes on the Rocks. There is a club called On the Rocks that has DJ Maldrul is going to be DJing that event. He's the wild and crazy DJ Maldrul, and he's going to be doing the Dress Your Craziest Beach Party. They're going to swap clothes and things like that. If you're a male, you'll be wearing female clothes, and I guess that's what they mean by that. I'm not sure, but
although to be fair, in opensim, that's not completely strange.
No, not at all. Oh,
I've moved on to. Hang on, I'm moving right on here because of time. I moved on. I moved on to your final slide, which is actually the music festival, isn't it?
Yeah, that has the details of all the singers and the date, and yeah, that's the International Day. That's the last of the slides, and what else did I have here? That's it. The team build. I'm sorry.
Yes, you were going to tell me about this team build. Now, I was particularly interested in this because I know it's an event that has already begun, but it's quite intriguing because I believe, if I'm correct, it's based on an AI
an image.
Picture.
Yeah, I asked it to make me an alternate metaverse.
3D? So they have to make something in 3D that is inspired by this picture. Is that correct?
Exactly. And, you know, they have a lot of creative license there. They can use prims. They can use graphics, EEP. They can use some prefab builds if they want to. If they put together, you know, they each have one sim to build on, a 1x1 to build on each team.
Wow, a whole sim?
5.
That's pretty cool.
There are 5 teams doing it, and the teams can be added to. Teams are already established, but you can, if you're watching this and you decide you'd like to participate in this, you can join one of the teams that are already established up until February 28th. So time is very limited to get that done. And then the winner will be announced on May 5th. I'm told that they're throwing me a birthday party on May 5th. So I'm going to announce the winner then and give them $250 US dollars as a prize to be split between the team, however they wish to have it split. If they wish to donate it, you know, to some charity or something, they're very free to do that. And however they want to do it, you know.
I reckon a load of people are going to be rewatching this show with a notebook in hand just so they can catch up on all the
information. You're absolutely right, Mal. And in the past, we have been, and I admit this, first of all, We have been very remiss at putting comments and details in the description of the video and in comments below. And I apologize for that. I often have tried to do that, but YouTube has a bad habit of removing any comment that has a link in it. So if you put the address of a grid, and then YouTube will just go ahead and remove the comment. But I will do my absolute best to put as many of the as much of the information as Kat has given me into the comments in this video. So tomorrow, come back, watch the video again if you're watching live right now, and you'll be able to find the details that she's talking about right now so that you can join in, because this is a great event. It's an opportunity to be creative, but also to have a little cash, which we all enjoy.
We can also, by the way, you can also embed the video on any other site. So you could almost create a blog page with all the information on it and just embed the video at the top. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to start the film running again.
The video that's playing, if you'd like to see this video, and it's in its entirety, it is playing at the Welcome Center. You just have to click on the white screen and it'll start playing for you.
Very good. I was just going to say, because this isn't on YouTube per se, this is actually on your website. Right. Well, before I start, well, I'm going to start it anyway. Actually, I need to turn the music on it off. I don't know, it came on again. First question, though, is who did the filming of this? It's absolutely wonderful.
Sophie. She is so good. Sophie Supermarine, the publicist.
Right. No, it's extremely good filmmaking, and
that's somebody that Mal knows, but he doesn't realize, because that's the wonderful lady who makes the blah 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 magazine.
She stopped it, but she's going to be restarting it. She's restarting it.
She needs to restart that. We need to have that, because that's
Clan Scotia, by the way. That's Clan Scotia.
Yes, aren't you lucky? Do you not sometimes think, how did we get so lucky to have Webby and Clan and these guys? Because what a great...
They're amazing.
Oh my God! It's a
Webby
full
makes
deal,
all these stages for every event.
Yeah, she's an amazing scripter.
Even when we have him at our events, you know, like Autumn Fest and Winter Fest, she makes all these stage inserts that go inside of our stage. That she uses Poser and what's the other one she uses? PMAC, thank you. And she puts these stages together, and like all of the animations are in the stage. That the band doesn't really have to, you know, learn to do anything.
Controversy time. Fudge Placebo. We were just praising Sophie, and Fudge Placebo says Sophie is all right, but Doc is the best. So here we go. Here comes the controversy started.
Controversy.
Is that Doc Mercury?
I don't know. It's just Doc.
Doc Mercury is on our grid too. And Doc Mercury is stunningly perfect at building things. She built a neighborhood.
She helped on the international.
She did the international thing along with Rike. She did the stages and the food court, and you know, all of the internal stuff there. I did the building, and they did all the props in the building. And Doc is fantastic. The Winterfest regions, a couple of them were done by Doc and Ellie. Ellie is her sister Inworld and her trusty sidekick. And they work together just incredibly. The whole Mercury family. They're wonderful. Let's see, what are we looking at now? We're looking at open mic. At the Arts.
Yes.
Decorated for Halloween.
Suitably dark and gloomy, actually. So.
Yeah, it's a Halloween. It's a Halloween Autumn Fest thing for open mic. Okay, now we're looking at Inner City. For you.
How many different musicians, just a ballpark figure, do you have that play on AMV? Not just residents, but people who come in and sing for you maybe once a week or every other week?
I can name them right off. Claire.
I know. She is so detail-oriented, this woman.
It tends to go in waves as well.
Clan, Zori, Kieran. Clansori Kieran, Joao, Maven, BG Singer, Becca Baxton,
Don't miss any. Don't miss
Ian
any.
Kitsilano. Trying
You
not
have to help her, Cliff. She
Yeah,
can't
You
miss
say
Cliff,
any.
Cliff, you
you
can
just say
speak
Icky
now.
and some.
Come
Yes,
on, Cliff.
Icky and some. Dave
Cliff.
King.
Oh, dear.
Dave King, that's right.
Yes, and
Doesn't
Dave King
Country
and
Bob
Ian have
sing?
their own clubs.
Right.
No, Country Bob has not performed there.
I thought he was one of your
If he
guys.
wants to, he can talk to me. Come talk to me,
Yes,
Country.
come on, Country Bob.
I've never heard him sing,
Oh, he's
but
fine.
I've heard him as a DJ. He's very
Yeah,
good.
I've heard him as a
He's
DJ.
a very
yeah,
good
he's
DJ.
DJ'd it for us a couple of times, yeah.
Yep. Oh, and me.
So,
I sing.
And you sing too. You're
Yeah.
famous for it. Somebody said to me the other day, she has the most beautiful voice. And I said, I don't think I've ever heard her sing. And ooh, she's definitely hear her when she sings. It's just gorgeous.
Come to karaoke.
So you have fans out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come to
karaoke.
Cornflakes Karaoke, and you'll hear me. Or if it's being taped, you'll hear me too.
You have to film that, really.
Just thinking,
Yeah.
well, later on this summer, we're going to do about 8 weeks of summer sessions. Well, Thirza takes a break and get musicians on. So maybe we'll.
You have to have Cat
Yeah,
come in, yeah.
One you
Awesome.
did miss. One you did miss was Ernest
You.
Moncrief. Ernest
Oh yeah,
Moncrief.
Ernest. Oh,
Oh,
cool.
Ernest
Oh,
Moncrief, yes.
yeah, Ernest.
He's been for the last 2 Autumn Fests. He does come in for Autumn Fest.
That guy is
and there are a few
all-rounder.
others that haven't been there in a while, like Terry the Wild Man.
Mikey.
Mr. Mikey String.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, how could I forget Mr. Mikey? He's so fabulous.
That's all
He's
the
every
current
2
ones.
weeks on the Aurora.
Let me while we're still got a bit of film to go, which is good. What we haven't talked about really is, we've been about musicians, cornflakes, all the rest of it, but
Mhm.
who does the building of the? I mean, I know you do prefabs for your clients and things like that, but we're seeing so much amazing stuff here, scenery-wise. Is this all?
I did this region we're looking at. I do a lot of the regions. I did a lot of the regions before we opened the grid. We also have Chris McCracken, who made Raceway Island, and that is several regions, several VARs put together to make up Raceway Island. He did the zombie. We have a zombie hunting. Yeah, this I did.
Didn't he do like a
all this.
Dante-inspired build? Like was
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Heaven and
That's,
Hell. I'm sure we visited that. In
Okay,
Safari.
that's
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
this
you
is
did.
Taffy's build, Serenity.
That's beautiful. Look at that.
It is. Taffy is a minister. She has her own church, and
Gosh,
she
that's
is a
nice.
minister, a real life minister. Yeah.
I get,
If there weren't so many atheists on Safari, I'd bring the group to see that. I have a feeling they might be too rude, though.
Taffy is also the mayor of AMV. She's just a really sweet person. Yeah. Yeah. She's a cool person. She's like not really, hyper religious, outside of the church, but she gets down to business when she's in the church.
That's a beautiful church, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
She does Bible study with people there.
She
did not build the church. She decorated the church.
Okay.
That's somebody else's build.
I have a Clifford. I keep on thinking I'm hearing you trying to get a word in.
No, it's all right. It's actually the cat sat next to me.
Oh, fair enough.
He's surrounded by cats.
Yeah. Before we thoroughly run out of time, we'll actually be running for about 10 minutes yet, so we can get the rest of this filming. But that will be it. So, James, you are often silent here and whatever. But if you've got any questions for Cataplexia, Clifford, and such, based on what we've covered so far.
No, I think you've covered it really well, and the building is just absolutely fabulous, and I just am constantly amazed by the vision that people apply to what we do in Open Simulator and music. It's a great place.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you've been watching the film all the way through, you would have seen a very, very futuristic looking world.
I
That
knew
was
the
that was the advanced building class.
Oh, goodness.
Rick started out doing basic prim building, and the team graduated on and started using mesh.
Oh.
And basically, they've created this futuristic world. And
Yeah,
Rick's not done the building. Rick has just guided people, and they've built these amazing buildings. Absolutely fabulous.
Hey, and is that a public open to the hypergrid kind of class?
Yes. Oh yes, yeah.
Oh yeah. Core Fun Academy is open to everyone and free. When I answered
we've
your
tried
question,
to advertise it
Thirza,
quite a lot of times. We tried to advertise it quite a few times on Hypergrid Happenings because, you know, we feel it's important. These free courses that you offer, they're important to the community because all kinds of different people are curious and just need maybe a hint here and there to improve their builds. And, you know, it's a precious resource.
Yeah, when I answered your question about who does the building, I only got as far as Chris McCracken. We have Lily Finesmith, who is Bear Lily's store. She does a lot of grid building. We have Rike Giano or Ted Jr. He goes under both names, and you know he's not hiding his alt. So I can mention both in one word. And he does incredible builds.
I remember coming to this club, the one we're watching now.
Okay, that's a club that I built.
Your lovely club.
That is,
I remember it, yeah.
In an Art Deco style. It's called Speakeasy Swing Hard.
Was this a safari visit, Thursday? I think it was, wasn't it?
I don't think it was.
No,
it's a bit of
that
a
was.
club.
I don't remember that.
Kieran performs there, and so does Zori.
Oh, Zori, maybe. Yeah. So I went to a couple of Zori's things to film. I said, yeah, okay.
You just saw Kieran.
Is there another couple of builders to put this place together?
All right. Even the World War II.
Richard and Desi Grey Wolf.
Oh, they're good too.
Is that World War II aircraft?
But you know the people we haven't mentioned, I really don't know. The people we haven't mentioned are those who sort of do the builds on their own regions, and there are many good builders, great builders with their own regions. And Desi and Richard Grey Wolf, what you're looking at now is part of their region, and they're just really fantastic.
Well, this has just been delightful. I've had such a great time with you guys, and
I had a great time.
I'm so excited. You have these 3 very important events. One happening right now, which is this build where people can win a significant sum of money if they want to participate, and we'll put the details here in the details of the event. And then you're going to have Cornflakes Week, which of course is the end of February, which you guys seem to have absolutely taking Cornflakes Week to a different level.
Yeah,
and then of course
there's going to be even
international
more.
event. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh really?
The
Dinkies,
even more?
Wow.
The Dinkies are going to put up some
oh my gosh, I
fun
really
stuff
want to see that.
Yeah.
They
know how to party.
Clanny's doing something as well.
Yeah.
And cornflakes.
I wanted to mention we have some new malls. We have Moda Mall is new, owned by Tyler Matthews.
Moda Plaza.
We have DeVal's. DeVal's has several different new stores that she's just put in there. One is for
I didn't know that's where
Magic.
she'd gone. I didn't realize.
Oh
Wow,
yeah,
good.
one is for Magic. One is for cyberspaceware. I mean, you're looking at a whole new DeVal's. Plus, she's got the old content. Also, she's got I think 8 regions now.
This region is just a criticism.
There's 3 zoos on AMV. I can't tell which one this is.
Never show a landscape sim to Mal because he just absolutely loves them.
Oh, this might be creative landform.
That's pretty.
Because I'm seeing the Japanese style stuff. There's Japan, Paris, Havana,
It could be Samsara.
Could be Samsara. Samsara's,
very-
oh my goodness.
She's a very good builder as well. Yana.
That's Yana Dakota, who has Samsara. Look at this, it's breathtaking.
Yeah, it's just
Great filming too.
I feel like we've visited it watching all this film, you know.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Several safaris in
And
one.
she does it nice and slow, so you can really take it in.
Yeah.
You know.
No, absolutely gorgeous.
I wanna put in a bid for for a safari.
Absolutely.
We have a place called Meridian.
Yeah.
It goes way high above the grid and cascades down. There's waterfalls externally to it. This was to give the water a great depth. Let me pull up my note card and I'll give it to you.
Meters.
Yep. See if
I just know that any minute now that James is going to start ringing some bells and tell us our time's up. But this has been such a great show.
You can hold on for 2 minutes. I've got this timed. Actually, we got
okay. Here's
2 minutes to go. So get it in quick.
Well, it's a huge undersea world. It's where humans meet mermaids. And you can rent mercaves or apartments undersea. There's a museum, an art museum. There's all kinds of stuff. I would love just to have the safari come there. When you guys come, like it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming.
Your challenge is
going to be to
find. Yeah, you're just going to have to find enough that we could just see in 1 hour without making us run from one thing to another, and it'll just be a blur. But yes, definitely, I would love to do that. Sounds wonderful.
Follow the footsteps
on behalf of the safari people.
If we followed the footsteps of this video, it'd be a 1 week safari.
It would be. At least, maybe more.
It is great stuff. Okay. I'm really pleased you gave us this film because it is.
This is the note card on Meridian.
It captures your whole region, the variety in it, in a way that, you know, if I just dived in quickly to get some shots, I couldn't get at all. So it's wonderful, very wonderful film and all very interesting. I have to say that it's 10 seconds of film left. I think we can squeeze a few extra seconds in.
I just want to say thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Another one of the great builders, Winter Mist. She's put a beautiful region together for Halloween, which is still there, and she's working on the next phase.
And Dragon Lady Carpe Noctem.
Oh, Dragon Lady, yeah.
See, this is the wonderful thing about OpenSim, that it doesn't matter how much you travel in OpenSim, you come to realize that you're never going to know it all, because there's always a part of a grid that you haven't yet discovered, and that's just the glory, really, of this wonderful place, OpenSim, that you can just keep going. There's really no end to it, because even if you've already been to a sim many times, there's more happens.
And you'll never see it all.
Exactly, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, it's been great having you here. As Thirza said, James has an alarm system that goes off very shortly if we're not careful. So, yeah. Final question time. James, I mean, I know I asked you a few minutes ago. Any final comments?
No, this has been wonderful. Thank you.
I'm not going to show it now, but there's a picture on the screen. It's the first frame of a... the first half of it is kind of reading from The Little Prince, but the
I loved the region.
Oddly enough, this studio is it's up in the sky, and we're actually right below.
It's beautiful.
Right below us on this sim is the build of The Little Prince. So we're an expiry on OS Grid. So if you ever come and visit us, before you get up here, you'll probably land down there on that wonderful little build. Anyway, I just sort of slipped that in before the end. So yeah, thank you, of course, as always, to James.
Yep, thank you, Matt.
Doing stuff. Thank you to the inimitable mega star, my co-host Thirza. Thank you, Thirza.
Mega thank you.
She's like the goodwill ambassador for the whole The whole hypergrid.
Everything, indeed. And
Nice to
thank
think.
you to our guests from Alternate Metaverse Grid. Thank you to Cataplexia.
You're very, very welcome. Thanks for having us.
And thank you also to Clifford. Clifford Hanger. I must get it right this time.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Mal.
Absolutely wonderful too. Okay, so we're out of here for another week. We will be back same time, same place next week. Unless none of us know what the future holds, do we? But I'm sure we will be. So for now, I'm going to wish you all a very good morning, a very good afternoon, a very good evening, and indeed a good tomorrow, depending on wherever and whenever you are. Bye for now.